welcome to Archetype Insights with me, Sharon Dane. Today, in this particular episode, I will be discussing about relationship. How few relationship can be really disruptive and can, in fact, destroy to a great extent to you, your family, and your life, and how some beautiful relationships can make you develop and build you the person how you should be. Okay, so stay tuned in short while. Welcome back. Well, this is my personal experience being in relationship with several people. These relationships are the relationship of a parent-child, like my relationship with my sibling, with my dad, with my school buddies, and in fact with my professors, my teachers, and few friends who do impact in life and will always be there with you. Subjective to how you react and how you evolve in life, and some they come to your life to just to create the impression that they are good, but in fact they just wear the mask, and their intention is to take away what you have, goodness. All right. So what happens when you deal with such people and you blindly trust on them? I've been a very innocent child, very innocent person from my childhood, and I completely or blindly trust people, and it would be like, I know I trust in God and I see God do exist in everyone, but in fact that was not the truth. On the contrary, God exists only in the right people, but to the wrong people there would be some existence of devil, demon, evil people, and satanic forces, or dark empathic forces, people who have dark energies based upon their thinking, their behaviors, and their plannings, right? So this all can be seen with the way how they behave in general. So the book of Susan Nolan Hookshima, talking about a lot about abnormal psychology. In that, there is a depiction of this thinking pattern, how you identify people's behavior based upon their thinking, their behaviors, and their actions. It depicts certain character and characteristics, feature or traits, from all those spiritual entities which are discussed a moment back. So you can identify them by looking to their eyes, or probably their instinct, the way how they perceive you, and how they think, and how far they can go with you, and how you feel, being in the relationship with them. Not required that you should be involving with such people, but in fact if you fail to identify them correctly, and you tend to become their friend, or you think that they're good enough, but slowly they move with the right phase, or probably with the right the real character what they possess for. 1 minute, I just need to turn it off and see if it will finally. There you are, pretty fine without the lights. So you have to see those patterns even without, they, um, even without their existence. How do you feel, and with their presence, how do you feel? Because these are smallest dimensions and slightest details which they leave behind a mark. And with my personal experiences being in the Middle East, I have been involved with few relations, and I've realized, and I finally understood how those relations can be so disruptive to my life, that it can actually cause trauma, imbalances, and in fact can destroy my career to a great extent. But never mind, in the global perspective, you evolve, you love someone, you like someone, you get involved with them, and there's a mature sense of freedom speech, and also it's beautiful to some extent because if you do not involve with the people, you will never learn what is good in them. And it's like the mirror effects. When you identify the good gestures in other people, you learn something from them. So do everyone comes in our life to teach you some lessons, or probably you to learn something. It's very important to have this SWOT analysis, very very important in life, not just restricted with the HR management, or only to interview or channels, or only for interviewing purposes. But it's very important to have a SWOT analysis of everything what you watch, about the entity, place, people, everything. Because if you do not identify the strength and the weaknesses and the threats and the opportunities involved in there, you may never understand what you want, and is that what you're seeking for. So doing this SWOT analysis impact to a great extent in building the relationship pattern. Um, I tried to make few videos before this and try to talk about my relationship with my mom, my dad, or probably my friends, and my dad is no more now, but my relationship with him was very beautiful. My professors with whom I have grown up, but all this is irrelevant to what I've experienced being with the toxic people and toxic relationship. Being a clinical psychologist, or probably who's been studied for long years into clinical psychology, you have to you have to take a little bit of trouble to interact with all these people, to know them how they are. But trust me, it's really not the right area to go, or to because the pattern of behaviors and the traits and the characteristics are so very very impactful upon your life and your growth and development, that it would lay you into a zone of you know no comeback. I understand that. So it's very important that you know few features or few characteristics which is from the dark book, or from the spiritual realm, to understand. And what happens if you deal, or if you come across with those people like satiric elements, people who are highly brilliant, have a force of energies which they carry along. When they walk through, they might look very tall, they speak brilliantly, but they do have a thing called like gaslighting, or probably like being in the group, or in being in the clan, associations far more. So these are very powerful people, powerful entities, and not to involve with them, because you might land up into some kind of an accidental forces. And this people, when they are satanic, what happens is they either involve into very brutal relationships, or very cruel partnerships, or probably into wrong associations, and very 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 strong wrong associations, like drug peddlers, probably who are into terrorism, theft, and smugglers, right? So these are one part of it. Second is about evil people. Narcissistic people can be called, I'm talking not covert narcissist, but narcissistic people can be seen as evilish with their behaviors. If you understand narcissism, it's like a snake thing, right? People who have a mind like a snake, no matter you pet them, no matter you take care of them or you feed them, ultimately they will wait when they wanted to bite you. Okay, because if you stop giving them that, their mind will change and it will turn back to you. These people always look for validity. Those people look for something to perceive them, something to feed them. And when you stop feeding them, when you stop cooperating them, is a time when that triggers them, and that will go to any extent that it can be the murder mysteries, or probably theft, or a defamation, or probably and to any extent, right? So narcissistic people have a trait like an evil character. So their observation is to abuse you. They can suck out all the positive energies from you. So be aware of those people too. It's not a good idea to get involved with them at all, you know. And the better you understand their character and behaviorism, step back. The only possibility is to cut them off completely from your life. The second is about one other type of narcissism is covert narcissist. These people are very stubborn, and they have spiritual forces like devil kind of a thing hidden inside in them. They might look really innocent or very trustworthy, very charming, or very impressive, but internally they keep observing you, they keep reading you, they keep looking for the details in you, when they can strike the code and how they can put you down, or how they can stop you from your growth. So devil confident people are very strong-headed. They are very good in their profession. They're very brilliant when it comes to man management, law, or any kind of winning games. They're really good about it. They're highly manipulative people who know to work the mind and the skill to be used into manipulation. They're very powerful when it comes to the task given, when it comes to some kind of plots and plans and execution towards that. So such people have a devil mindset, and you know what happens when you deal with the devil. uh, Devilish people are good in certain jobs, and that should be it. They cannot be good in personal life. If they choose someone, they choose it to ensure that that person stay, no matter that person is happy with him or her, or or not, right? Their basic perspective, their basic instinct to look for gratification, and the success of the gratification is when they control other people. So that's their control is their biggest game, is their biggest achievement. If they cannot control another person, they don't feel great. And in order to please their instinct, they have to control other people. So I'll talk about sad, and I'll talk about now. Let's just discuss about dark empathic people. How they would be. They would be either more involved with sales, or some kind of work which is marketing, sales, or anything related with public services, because they love to connect and spread the darkness. The dark people will not cooperate with innocence, will not cooperate with positive people at all. Even if you try and show them different dimensions or justification towards it, their their basic mission and their goal is to make the other person darker, because they are very selfish, very mean, very much towards them, not to other people. Those dealings of people are a big loss, because when you connect with the people who have dark mindset, they only look for their growth, their development. They're very selfish, and such people will remain selfish. Even if you teach them a lot of ethics or principles in life, they just ignore it, because that does not make any sense for them. They either start the life very late, or they might involve with the people who are highly rich, and they might get deceived from them, and they learn many chapters being with the wrong companies, but they never learn Why is that very important? Because they hate light, they go against your positive people. So these are few traits which you have to identify. And also very important trait is, very important tip for you is, people who come in your life, who contribute for your growth, for your success, for your upbringing, for talk to you from the soul, teach you like a child, or probably nurture you, blesses you, and who offer you good part of karma, or good lessons in life. They might stay for a split seconds or so, or that you might not have a long term relationship with them, but those people impact your life for a greater extent, right? Because their words impact you to a great, to miles far. And it not just impact you, your mind, your body, everything. Word has a power. Word, the meaning of relationship can never be existed without love, without sharing word. In today's life, there are so many broken marriages, so many people are being alone, and moving in their life, in their career, in search for something or the other thing. But you might lose relationship, or you might be involved with relationship. The best about, the beauty about the relationship is communication. So if you sit across a table, discuss things very clearly, respect individuality, respect each other, and see each other from the eyes of clarity, with transparency, and you do not bring any grudges, anything within this part of your aura, and you make things very clear and crystal clear for them to read through, to identify through, and to plan through what your future going to be. These are the relationships which can actually go miles far, right? And relationship is nothing without communication, nothing without sharing. If your mind is to deceive another person by being good to them, how far you can carry that mask? It will not last for long. You might carry for 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, and then you get exhausted. So people who lie, people who deceive, I really hate them the most, because these are the blockages what they create for themselves, and that irritates us, because we know, we can feel, we can sense that they're lying, we can see through it. But the only fact why it triggers us, why it irritates us, is because they do not admit for the fact that they are lying, right? So deceiving people. I seen the trial of Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. It's like lie after lie after lie, right? Both parties are being lying. Both parties have something to hide for. It's very clear, just because only one person talking everything, and the other person doesn't, or the other person does all the wrong thing, and the counterpart doesn't do it. It's never acceptable. Okay, so somewhat the other way, both the parties are involved into it, but in wrong things. But mostly we can observe very clearly from the expression of the lady, Amber Heard, the actress Amber Heard. She been my favorite too, but I really adored her beauty and everything. But it's like a lost story now. But I feel like what I observe in her pattern of behavior is like maybe very strong family people who have been like very narcissist from the very beginning of her stage, and she been very stubborn lady to be dominant, and ruled her life with dominancy and with a lot of brainy plannings. So if those planning is not becoming successful, they get irritated, they get pissed off. And there's a movie called as there's a movie made on the similar character, um, The Lost Girl. So the symptom, what has been shown in that particular character, resembles exactly what the character of Amber Heard is. I forgot the syndrome name, but it's more towards borderline, depicting or directing towards borderline personality. I will name about that syndrome in my description below, because there's a lot to learn from it. Um, and especially in the timeline we are in, we have to observe if we come across with such pattern of behaviors. It's something very very severe. It's a very chronic element, and chronic manic depressive or borderline episodes or triggers which can harm. It can be homicidal. So make sure you identify that syndrome repeatedly, because the Lost Girl was very exciting. It's one of my favorite movie because there's a lot of clinical psychology or psychological observation to be seen, and how clinical psychologist is depicting every character cleanly, and how she does all this in, like, she does a murder, or she talk about lies, she hit herself, but how the character had portrayed the role, and after so long, that particular character of that movie seems to be real through Amber Heard. So I don't want to discourage or disappoint a particular person, because it's life. It has nothing to do with Amber as a person. It has nothing to do with Johnny as a personal life. The environment and the life change you to be who you are, right? And the environment, your upbringing, your childhood traumas, or probably your childhood pattern behaviors, and your thinking capacity, your parent child relationship patterns, your abandonment issues. These are a few of the triggers in the early stages of life. If it's not been resolved correctly, properly, and in the right time, it can lead to a massive disruption in your mental makeovers and your behaviors, and that can lead to such chronic pattern of behaviors and traits, which can never be healed later part in life, which can never be repaired, because these people will not cooperate with clinical sessions or settings for a longer period of time. Even if so, they have to go with the medications, very much recommended medications. Psychotherapy do work, but only to some settings only, because when your manic depression or manic or chronic triggers chronic behaviors, some very very chronic and cruel behaviors trigger certain pattern of behaviors in you, it's a symptom that cannot be repaired. Well, medication can stop those triggers happening in your neurons, so your behaviors can be observed to be controlled, but again it has to be changed right in. So very important that such behaviors to be observed or studied. Studying such behaviors is a very is actually the key to open your own mind and know what is hidden in there, okay, what is happening with you. Because if you give this book to the same patient and make them understand what is this behavior all about, and this behavior is seen in you, um, do you know about it, they would say, no, I don't have. No, they will never admit it. I'm sorry, I'm not. But then if you generate that interest and make them self-aware about it's all your symptoms which has been observed, please read through it. They identify themselves, and they identify themselves through those pattern of studies. This I have practiced with one of my friends. She got schizophrenia, and I've seen her in a very acute stage of schizophrenia, going with a lot of medications and and seizures. Yes, and I felt really bad for the person, but the psychotherapy really worked for great while, and even hypnotism. And later stage, she have to study about schizophrenia to know what is this symptom all about, to know what is this world is all about. So every episode, so do the pattern of relationship. If you build a relationship with the wrong people who are unlike you, who disgust you, who destroy your peace, who abuse you sexually, morally, mentally, emotionally, financially, who drain your energy and take off everything what you possess only for seeking their growth and development and never been contributory factor for your growth and development. It's better to cut off those people from your world because they will never serve you any further. You might feel lost, you might feel disappointed. Am I doing right, wrong, whatever it is? But that's the justice. Finally, the justice had to happen when you cut it off, when you use your mind. Because I played a role of being fair with everyone. The dark has the dark fairness, the dark also is a dark, accept that darkness, and also accept the light, because they all are humans existing with different energy systems. But when you do so, uh, it start impacting you. They try to take you for granted, and they hurt you. If you're strong enough, you can fight back, but if you're not, then you cannot do anything, but you get destroyed in the hand of some powerful entities, right? I would call such people as entitical forces. They are there for their work. They cannot be human, and they do not exist as a human. They do not understand like what is humanity all about. Okay, humanity is not to destroy, to deceive, to lie, to cheat, to cheat, to spy. Humanity is all about what you serve to the society. Today there are so many NGOs working for some or the other causes, some for children, some for animals, some for cancer patients. This is the work of humanity, and they ask for a donation. When you serve them, that's the humanity. I've learned this the greatest path from one of my dearest doctor, Dr. Wasim. He taught me what is humanity all about. Okay, so um, when being that brilliant and in that great height of your profession, but when you still work hard for other people in the society tomorrow, or you serve to the society, or giving back to the society, that's what humanity is all about. Humanity is all about taking care of your loved one, speaking the truth always, and following the path of wisdom, following the path of loyalty, following the path of hurt, but never hurt other people. Take the hurtings, take the feelings deep within you, and keep it hold closer to you until you find solution how you can cherish and let it be free, right? Those people plays a biggest role in someone's life. So some can motivate them to become a successful people, or some can leave that impression in their mind that they will always remain in their memories, and that can change someone's life for sure. So you have to identify how you trigger someone and how you impact other people. If you impact people with positively or with positivity, you are far bigger person, and you don't need compliment, you don't need anybody's pat or support. You just can walk this aisle all by yourself. This is your world, and this is your path for sure. And heaven looks up to you, and the divine forces will take care of you. But if you are people who abuse other people, who look for a chance and wait for some right timing to see or take that advantage onto other person, and who destroy another's career or life, or general living, a normal living lifestyle, who curses, or do the spell work, who do the black magics, who do all this kind of witchcraft things, and probably who always talk lie or deceive other people. These are the people have to be stopped then and there. If you do not identify what your action is, if it is for good or for bad, then you will remain in that zone of bad. Would you like to kill yourself? If the answer is no, if you wanted to live for a long while, leave that zone of lie, leave that zone of darkness, leave that zone of spreading deceptions, and spreading a really wrong sense across, in your life and towards your world. Because every action what you do is also part and also a reaction for other people. So make sure you impact society, you impact people with the right way, not in the wrong way. Okay, that's the lesson about relationship. Relationship is not just the relationship with humans, but also relationship with your pets, your with the plants, with the mother nature, with the mother earth, and with the universe, universal force, with the stars, with the moons and galaxies, and even beyond that level, right? So you have to always connect with something which is beyond your control, beyond your limitations, and you have to always be in the relationship with your truth, with your true path. And trust me, when those people learn their lessons and they would like to come back to you, those wrongdoing people, they can never come back. Remember, once a wrong person does anything wrong to the innocent life, they remain purposeful deceiver. They always do their action purposefully in order to have some validation or gratification. And even if they learn their lessons through karma or karmic um, you know forces, they can never come back and apologize to you, because the karma takes place only after you do wrong to other people, right? So remember one thing, there is always divine watching you. Just keep this consciousness in mind. There's somebody up there, right up there, far away, knows everything what you're going through, and they are watching you. They're keeping their silence to give you the strength. Silence is the biggest strength. Someone possesses silence, appreciate them, because they're holding the strength within them. There will be only one flash of light, and it will be the final cut, or the final go, right? So you have to learn all these perfections of universe and mother nature, and never play with innocence, never play with innocent lives, no matter how ugly they look, no matter how bad they are in the state, because God exists in innocent heart and innocent souls. Always remember that. Make relationship a beautiful memory to cherish for, and not a destructive triggers that always triggers you till you're done. Until the next insight, this is me, Sharon, saying here. Ciao.